Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crossover. Starring Josh Johnson and Chris McGill. Featuring Christina Thorson. And of course, you, the Instagram live chat. Now, sit back and enjoy this week's edition of The Crossover. Powered by Card Ladder.
Nothing?
No, it works. I had to switch to the iPhone. I just don't understand. I send the invite and it says wasn't sent. Okay, great, thanks.
That worked. Somehow it worked me inviting. Okay, well, this is becoming part of the ritual now.
It's ridiculous, dude. I don't understand how, and Instagram with billions of users or whatever, you can't even go live without a black screen?
The going live on Instagram has never been great, but...
we might have to switch platforms for real.
I agree. I do think we should migrate to YouTube for these.
Oh, I've been testing X. That's not good enough?
Can you go on... can you go live with video on X? I guess you can.
Yeah, I'm down for YouTube.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That's a project for this... for the end of Q1.
We can't be doing things in 1 week, dude.
No. We need to... when Elon emails me and says, "What have you done this quarter?"
Right.
That's what it's going to say. Okay. Announcements. Card Ladder related announcements.
No.
And mail days.
I have a mail day.
Let's go.
Do you?
I do not.
Figures.
Yep.
All right. I bought this on eBay a couple weeks ago, and it went through verification process for 2 weeks.
Nice.
This is the 2015 Topps Chrome 1976 insert Superfractor 1 of 1. This is a rookie card, technically.
Nice.
So,
Love it. Somebody used the word swanky in the chat a little bit earlier, and I'm going to steal that word and use it for this card.
what's the swanky like? Because it's like retro?
Got the 70s vibe.
Yep. I'm not sure why they chose 1976, given that it's 2015. Guess they're big on 39-year anniversaries.
Look, math, who really needs it?
Yeah. I would love the base. The 2015 Topps Chrome base cards are pretty ugly. Like the Superfractor of this actually would look better. But, you need the base.
You do. But nonetheless, that is a really cool card. Congrats. All right. I also neglected to welcome everybody to the show. Today's Friday, February 21st. And lots of great questions for this week. Won't be able to get to all of them, unfortunately. But let's start with softball. From Roundtree 13 cards, what are the odds that either of you would join a fantasy baseball league?
0.0.
Either or either?
Is that a potato thing?
Yeah.
Either.
And what are the odds on that? 50-50, 60-40, either over either? Yeah.
0.0.
It's at 0. Now why? Just because it's a time thing, right?
Right. It's probably I would imagine fantasy baseball is the most time consuming.
Yeah. 162 games.
Yo. Oh my gosh. That's so many games.
All right. From 90s B-ball cards, what did you all think of the new setup for the All-Star game? I was not a fan. Did you hear Bill Simmons' suggestions for how to improve, and what are your thoughts on them?
You can go first. I feel like you were practicing this for the week.
Yeah, I enjoyed the All-Star game competition. I thought the gameplay itself, which was only 34 minutes of screen time, was fine. It wasn't amazing, but it was fine. The broadcast itself was 3 hours, though. So you had 146 minutes of commercials and coverage, and I hated every moment of that. I also thought the slam dunk contest was pretty good. And McClung, he gets better every year. It's pretty impressive. So I didn't like the 3-point contest mainly because during it I was like, these guys kind of don't seem to be the best shooters. And so I went and I looked at I set some minimum attempt threshold, and I said, who are the top 15 shooters by percentage this season? And only one of the participants in the 3-point contest actually made that top 15 list, and it was the guy who was in 15th, which is Darius Garland. So maybe some better shooters next time.
Did that account for Heaves?
It does. It does account for Heaves. It does.
Well,
they don't filter the Heaves out.
You can easily solve for that by shooting distance. Did you know
that? Look, that's a great thought. I like that.
Really I've been on Twitter, bro. I'm on Twitter now.
Okay. Your turn. Thoughts on the NBA All-Star Weekend?
I didn't watch a second of it, but it wasn't because I didn't want to or thought it was bad. I just didn't watch it. So I'll speak on the Simmons thing because I actually listened to that episode. I thought his ideas were cool. I thought they would all be an improvement, and I know people get all upset about the All-Star Game home court advantage thing. I think it's interesting. I don't mind it. And then I thought the idea of like splitting it up into 2 games where the below 5 seeds have to like fight it out, and if you decline the game, you can no longer come back. Just those little wrinkles are interesting and funny. But to your point, I think those weren't the issues. It was more like the media coverage and the broadcast, in my opinion. The media is just like piling on at this point. They're like, it sucks. Maybe it sucks because you guys keep saying it sucks.
Yeah. And Bill's ideas were cool, but he can't see what the problem is because he's thinking to himself, I have one of the most popular podcasts in the world. I cover the NBA all the time. I do a nice job covering the NBA. So what's wrong with the NBA coverage? Right? Which is fair because he does do a pretty nice job of covering the NBA. He's written books on the history of the sport. He cares about it a lot. If the standard of NBA coverage was what he has established, it would be a lot better than it currently is. If the standard of the NBA coverage was what Ben Taylor does with Thinking Basketball, I think the sport would explode. The thing is this, the coverage is more important than the sport itself. We spend more time consuming the coverage of the sport than we spend consuming the sport itself. And if the coverage is bad, it stands to reason that the sport is not going to have a favorable approval rating. That's the beginning, the middle, and the end of the problem with the NBA is the coverage really needs to be blown up and started over from scratch.
There was another podcast with Bill. I think it was the most recent one. He let it slip. He said something like, there's always 6 to 8 really bad organizations in the NBA. And he's like, which is great for us. It's great for content. So he's basically admitting that content is centered around the things that are bad. And we know this from political media, sports media, especially basketball. It's very negative focused, and the NFL has figured it out to make it more positive focused. They do these like very light and airy interviews with Mahomes. They make it really light, and they make everyone seem like they're really great, and they show their families, and it's always very positive. They will never speak bad about Brady. NBA media, they're just jumping all over LeBron. They jump all over Luka's weight. They make fun of Jokic's rim protection I keep hearing about now. These are the 3 best players that they have, and they're just like making fun of him. It makes no sense.
Just try to picture like the halftime breakdown during a random regular season game, and it's like Phil Simms and Bill Cowher, and they're just going back and forth about, man, in the 70s though.
Yeah.
Oh, we used to really hit them. This game is soft. I'm sorry, these guys can't play. We were stronger, bigger, and faster. Our coaching schemes were way more advanced.
It's so true.
But you guys go ahead and enjoy the game. And by the way, we didn't even watch.
Where does that culture come from? Is that coming from Goodell v. Silver? Is that coming from because in the media you should be able to say what you want. So why is it that all the NFL media is so positive and the NBA is so negative?
I don't know. Do you have a theory?
No. I thought maybe I'm not sure. Because it's not like we control the media. It's not like Silver like decides who gets to be in media. I think there's something about like the ex-players that we just happen to be that started it with Chuck and everybody, and they just like everybody just sort of jumps in and does the same thing as Chuck in NFL. I don't know.
if I was NBA media czar for a day and I could fire everybody who currently works in NBA media, with a few exceptions.
You're Doge.
Yeah, I'm there we go. I'm Noj, NBA government efficiency. I don't know. That doesn't really make sense. But if I could just play that role for a day, and here's what I would do. I would just take some of these great content creators on YouTube, like Ben Taylor, Thinking Basketball, and there's a few others, and then I would take like a Bill Simmons and people like that who like to really talk about the culture of the sport, but they care about the history of it too, and I would just swap them out. And I think it would be, like I said, I think the coverage of the sport is the most important part of the sport. So I think it would do a world of good. And I think there's places for the NFL media to improve too. I actually think that NFL media is trending towards being like the NBA media. So when Netflix had its analysts breaking down those Christmas games, and it was like Manti Te'o and RG3, and like they were just going off the rails, I was like, this is not good. This is not good.
And Al Michaels is like hanging on by a thread.
Dude, I don't think people realize he's like 85.
Yeah. It's just like every single person that looks at this from the outside is like, oh, the NBA All-Star Game's a joke. Here's what I would do. Here's the changes I would make. But I don't hear anyone talking about maybe the NBA game is actually great right now, and we should just be not talking shit about it. Just watch the fucking game.
Exactly. All right. Thanks for the question, Jake. Now, how about this? I've got two questions on this. The first one's from the Sports Card Journey, who says, please discuss the NHL's answer to most of their All-Star weekends going forward. And what are we doing here? Says, will the NBA learn anything from the NHL and finally change the All-Star game?
To what? To the USA versus Canada?
I don't know. I want to take this as more of the NHL question. Did you happen to watch any of the NHL games?
I turned on a bit of the one that we won after I kept seeing the notifications about the fights. I honestly, until I got those notifications, I had no idea what it was. And I just kept seeing that, so I turned it on. And I saw Twitter was going nuts about it, so I thought I'll check it out. So did it replace the All-Star game? Is that what's happening?
I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah. I literally could not be more out of my depth than
right. Yeah, I saw a bunch of X posts talking about how like I didn't know what this was 7 days ago, and now this is like my life.
Yeah, which makes me wonder, is it going to be sticky and have this same momentum every year, or was it a flash in the pan?
Yeah, I mean, do you even know who 3 players on that USA team were?
Probably not. And Jason Robertson, was he playing?
I think Austin Matthews is pretty good.
Austin Matthews, okay. Yeah, that's about as far as I go.
Kachuk brothers, but I don't even know their names.
Nice. I wouldn't have known how. I've seen that name on a few Twitter screens, but I wouldn't know how to pronounce it.
They're the ones fighting, not scoring goals. Well, I think one of them scored a goal.
Surprised we haven't seen more pro fighting content. Like, here's what will save the NBA, because these guys making $60 million a year, it's just not good enough. So how about they start fighting each other?
Well, Russillo had a good take on this. Did you hear this take?
No.
This is the take that like NBA is weak, and like they take games off and all this stuff, right?
Right.
Well, he was talking about how in the NHL the top players play like 20 minutes a game, and they play 1 minute at a time, then they get rest. So like it's not even comparable to the amount of load that the NBA players have to take on in a single game, where they're playing 36 to 40 minutes and they have the ball the whole game.
I can always count on a take like that from Russillo.
So suck on that, hockey fans.
All right. Up next, from Cards and Cardio, what is the most likely outcome with the recent Victor Wembanyama injury? Are quote-unquote investors going to pivot into other ultra-modern stars? Will they retreat into the safety of vintage? Or will they explore higher-end 90s inserts?
When are people going to learn that when you miss time, your card values go up? It's just going gonna delay the hype and just continue the hype.
I love that zag. There is all but a certainty that Wembanyama's market is just done, and it will be amusing to pull up his index when he returns for Game 1 of the following season, assuming that he does, and just see that index is actually up 7%.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I'm calling it. What's the scenario where someone invests in Wemby and then leaves it for vintage? That seems like a stretch.
Yeah.
And there's
it does. Yeah.
Maybe they jump into Cooper Flag when he has cards come out in 18 months.
Because the idea there is that somebody who's buying Wemby cards right now is most likely somebody who enjoys getting in early on a potential superstar.
I guess. But Wemby's like a once in a decade kind of guy right now, it looks like.
Yeah, he is.
Hope it gets better though. It sounds like legit, like a real scare. It's not like it's an injury. This is like a blood clot. This is something pretty scary. Hope he's all right.
Yeah. Indeed. I would also say I'm not so sure that if I were a vintage collector or I am somebody who collects a bit of 90s, I'm not so sure I want the Wemby prospectors giving up and coming into my market.
Yeah, because they throw a lot of money around.
They throw a lot of money around, and they're not, some of them are probably like, hey, I'd like to, collect the player for the long term, but I think a lot of them are just looking for good entry and exit points. I mean, they're just going to pillage that market.
Yeah, especially with all the Topps Fanatics stuff, Mercury and all that. There's just so many products.
Yeah, I think I sent you the Wemby Mercury LeBron dual 1-of-1 that sold for $150,000.
What even is that card?
I don't know.
Like, they could print stuff like that to the moon. They could infinitely just make stuff like that, and people would just eat it up, apparently.
Yeah, I think he's got, like, all types of variations and duals and 1-of-1s in that Mercury product.
Someone in the chat says the Wemby prospectors are going to Caitlin Clark. It's probably true.
Yeah.
Is her Prism out yet?
It is, yeah. Yeah, I was listening to Brett and Nick talk about her first Prism Mojo out of 25 sale. I believe they said it went for about $7,500 raw. And then they pulled up Wemby's first raw Prism Mojo out of 25 sale, and that was about 16 or 17 grand.
Oh. So she's like a third to a half of Wemby?
Yeah, that is not the ratio I was thinking.
I saw the Bronny James Black has been pulled.
I saw that too. Yep.
That's a pretty sweet card.
Yeah, I love how it evolved on social media too, because at first it was a few accounts who just grabbed a screenshot of the break.
Yeah.
And then like the quality of the images slowly gets better as people take, like, somebody gets a better screenshot of the break and other people share that one, and then finally you actually get a real still image taken of the card after the break, and now you finally see what it looks like. But somebody said to me it was nostalgic seeing these horrible photos of the card, just reminiscent of eBay 10 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. From PLB Cards, you guys have discussed the scenario where someone outbids you in an auction and you see the card listed on it. Wait, let me just stop for a second. This whole clip that Brett shared last week about this topic, about...
We didn't need a name for it, but I know what you're saying.
What is the name for it?
I don't know. I'll think about it. It's not the mega bid, it's the no bid.
The no bid, yeah.
Yeah.
Like what happened? Like there's some context where you can give a vote of no confidence.
Abstinence. It's like you're waiting for.
Abstinence.
Is that abstinence? Is that right?
Yeah, that works. That works. People have lots of different abstinence methods too.
Wait until marriage. That's the key.
Yeah, the abstinence bid. Okay, all right. I just thought it was funny that this topic has really resonated with people, has it not?
Yeah. I've gotten some enjoyment out of it from people.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they seem to like it. It's
It's
almost like the funniest part about it is that people are like they have the same reaction that I expect, which is like this is silly and it's stupid, and they're like when they think about it, they're like maybe it does. Maybe I should try it.
But then there's always the guy who's like, but what if you're wrong and a collector wins it and you just never actually get a shot at it again?
You were gonna lose it anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I just thought it was like a really niche idea,
Yeah.
but no, it's people are dealing with
This
this.
is what we do, man. We churn out these weird ideas.
All right. Well, anyway, here's the question from PLB. You guys have discussed the scenario where someone outbids you in an auction and you see the card listed on eBay for some multiplier the next day. Does your opinion of this person change based on whether they actually collect cards in a meaningful way? Also, do you prefer a card flipper to be honest about only being into cards for the money, or someone who flips high-end cards but talks about how they collect Donovan McNabb refractors or something low-end like that?
No, I mean we're just kind of used to it at this point. It's not like we hate these people or anything. It just they're allowed to flip, we're allowed to criticize.
Exactly.
It definitely bothers me though.
Yeah, it's a bit like free throw punting. It's a
Yeah,
it's a bit like watching James Harden play
it
basketball.
works,
It
but
works, yeah, and it puts points on the board, but you just don't. It's not the ethical ball that we know and love.
it's like the Embiid one. The Embiid ones are so bad. I can't watch him do that.
Dude,
He's falling over.
he just gets like killed right now. It's bad. It's so.
Is he playing right now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just tough because like he has no momentum. The 76ers are terrible right now.
Paul George is terrible.
And it just Twitter's just clips of him just flopping. Yeah. I try to read in between the lines of a question like this and figure out what is it actually asking. Is it kind of actually saying like, is it okay if I do flip cards, or like what if I do this, like but I collect too. Like, here's the thing, I'm not saying that this is applying to the question asker, but if you're gonna do it, you just gotta own it, I think, and take criticism in stride and just don't dwell on it, and understand that the only reason there's criticism is because people really want to own these cards, which is actually something that works in your favor at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's good advice. Yeah, there's always a bit of an undertone to these questions, like, who are you guys to be hating on these people? I'm one of these people.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of them out there, I think.
Yeah, we understand. We know that.
For sure. All right. From Collect for Fun 23.
We still hate you, though.
just a little bit. Has social media impacted how you collect, and if so, for better or for worse?
Probably better, because it's like you think you know something, especially when you're first join. You think you know like all the cards involved in a specific lane that you're in, and then Instagram starts to feed you similar stuff, and you start to learn about new eras, sets, whatever, and you get inspired to do new stuff.
Okay. That's an interesting angle. You're looking at it from as like a consumer of social media content that other people are producing. It gives you things to think about. And I was sort of thinking about it from the angle of as the owner and operator of a social media account myself, how does that impact my collecting?
Mm-hmm.
And I like it. I one of my favorite parts of collecting probably is posting a card. So I think it's been a positive impact for sure. But what about negatives? What are some of the negatives because there are some for sure.
There's not much mystery anymore to the cards.
Yeah.
Like we're just not shocked anymore when we see something.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the thing that's it's hard to dwell on negatives for social media because if there are negatives, you can just mute the accounts that you don't like, or you can just uninstall the app and log out.
That was always my beef with the Netflix documentaries and the criticisms about like social media taking over. Just turn it off.
Right.
Like we're getting too much of
That's fair.
this type of content. Then don't follow it.
But people do a lot of worrying about other people.
Yeah, true.
A lot. Okay.
I think I read that Instagram offered a feature where you can reset your algorithm.
Nice.
I'm not sure exactly how to do it, but I did see some stuff about that. So there you go. If you're looking for a way to start over.
Now just fix this black screen, Zuck.
God, dude, it's ridiculous.
Zuck like laid off 3,600 people recently, but those executive bonuses went up. I don't know. I saw some clickbait somewhere about that. I didn't click it, but it still stayed. Next question from Vinny Slabarino. Always enjoy the show. Enjoyed the conversation with Stacking Slabs about player versus team collectors. Do you think there are still generalist collectors in the modern hobby? Or maybe is it too expensive for a generalist? Or maybe social media handles lend themselves to having a more specific identity. For me, I have my favorite baseball players for sure, such as Schmidt and Brett, but I collect everyone from my era. Puckett, Gooden, Mattingly, etc.
Mm. Those are some of my favorite accounts when it's like just a bunch of cool looking cards.
Those cards, I mean, those accounts are impressive. If I go to accounts and an account and it's like they've got like an Otani 1 of 1, and then they've got like a Ken Griffey Jr. credentials, and then it has I don't even know if that's a card, but if it just has like really good cards of like 5 different players in a row, I'm just like, damn, like how deep does this collection
Yeah.
go? This is intimidating.
You know Andy, Bye Bye
Yeah.
Baby cards?
Yes.
He's been buying all this crazy Niners stuff.
Yeah.
I think he's from the Bay Area and he's got the Jerry Rice Gem Master. And then this week he just randomly drops his Terrell Davis collection, and it's just like
Yeah.
one of the best Terrell Davis PCs you'll ever see.
Yeah, Terrell Davis is a sick collection. A sick player to collect too. He had one. Which 1 of 1 did he have of Davis?
He's got the 98 row 1 Flair Showcase 1 of 1. And he also has the row 2 97 Marvin Harrison.
Cool.
And he's got like a Brett Favre 1 of 1. He's got like all kinds of. I mean, it's obviously just good football players. So it's not just completely general, but it's not just Niners.
You've got a Black Finite 1 of 1 generalist thing going. Would you agree?
Yeah, but it's like specific to 1 of 1 rookie football guys. I mean, there's always some lane. I think this question kind of feels like you just pick out a card you think looks cool of a player you like, and you buy it. It's just hard because the money thing is just, how do you know what to buy?
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about? I I I think being a generalist is like if there's a continuum that on the one extreme is set collecting without any interest in any specific player but just focused on the set, and the other extreme on the continuum is hardcore player collecting. There's just one player you collect and you'll collect all their cards and you're not super focused on any particular set. I think the idea of a generalist is quite a bit closer to set collecting, where you're collecting you're collecting the idea of this era or something general. I feel like that's a clean divide. It's like either you're a player collector or you're collecting a theme or an idea.
Yeah.
And every time I find myself going into the theme, I just ultimately end up being more compelled to like eventually sell the stuff that's not of a PC player I'm passionate about.
Yeah. I like the comment in the chat from Perimeter Collectibles. It says, I feel like being a generalist makes it more affordable for me. I'm not forced to pick a specific lane. That one is kind of more, I take that as like he lets his budget decide when to buy cards and not feeling forced to buy a card when it comes up of a player PC that he has to have. Instead, he just sort of like, okay, now I've got the money. Now it's time to buy a card.
It's a really interesting thought because I can certainly attest that once I've become pot committed to collecting a certain player, I'm backed into a corner. And if other people are competing against me, and I've really got my heart set on this player and this card, it can get expensive. It can get cost prohibitive quickly. But if I was more fluid, more open-minded, more willing to look at other players when a different player is heating up, could certainly be more budget friendly.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. I like it.
Next up from Soul Tough, when starting a new player collection, what are some of the criteria or requirements and fail safes that you run through before you jump in?
Rookies, one of ones, start there and go backwards or go forwards. I don't know.
I like it.
Brand, 101, rookie.
Yeah.
And then slowly, where would you go if you had brand, 1 of 1, rookie, Prism, black, 1 of 1, rookie? Would you stay, if you got that, would you stay in the rookies for a while and then start to go out? Is that your most important thing?
Yeah, I mean, one does worry if you start there. There's nothing to build up to. You already climbed the mountain. You took a helicopter to the top of the mountain.
If you work your way backwards, then would you still try to focus on rookies and work your way up to the 101 Prism, or would you try to do 101s from non-rookie years and then work your way to rookies?
I think my answer today would be, well, I have the answer to this because I have a PC. My most recently acquired PC player is Purdy, and the approach that I'm taking to it is I'm just sticking to rookies. Well, to be technical, I'm sticking to 1 of 1 parallels to true rookie cards.
Right.
And by true rookie card, what I mean, and people can have different definitions for what that means, but for what I mean by true rookie card is very much aligned with what Victor Roman has sketched for his definition, which is just the first appearing base card. That's the true rookie card, and then the 1 of 1 parallel to it. And the thing I like about Purdy is that, and this is a good exercise, I think, to go through for any new PC player, is I made a spreadsheet of every Purdy rookie year card, every one. And then I started narrowing in, and Purdy had 34, 35 1 of 1 parallels to true rookies for his entire catalog. There's only 34 or 35. And I think I have 5 or 6 of them. So that's the little pond that I'm fishing in is just those 34 or 35 cards.
Would you trade them all for the Black Finite?
I mean, while I'm having fun just scooping these up and knowing that the ask on the Black Finite is really, really high, I'll say no. But if that day actually came, yeah, I'd probably do it.
Which begs the question, should you just not have bought any of those and waited for the Black Finite? Or is this a hedge against you might not get the Black Finite and you've got this as a backup?
Yeah.
Because I have that same battle,
Yeah, this way I do leave myself the out, or not the out. I leave myself the option of adding the Black Finite on top if I end up really liking having this bigger catalog. Yeah. So I want to highlight this comment from the Great Rippin' List, who says, "We don't need Vic. Manufacturers print the RC logo on cards to take the guessing out of it," which I like that point of view as well. And if you take that point of view, you're going to get a much wider variety of cards to consider collecting too, which is a good thing.
Are you gonna let every other comment about your new background just fly by? This is
I
like
mean, there was a flurry of them at the beginning,
now
and
we're
then
back.
silence, and now there's
I
more.
think there's like people want to know if there's like going to be a fire in this fireplace to increase the vibes.
Yeah, there should be. I actually hate the fireplace. The fireplace is getting replaced.
You're just gonna cover it up.
Fire replace. And yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I think you could just fill a fireplace. You just fill it up.
Yeah, I just hate how it looks right now, and we need to get it fixed.
People in the chat seem to like it.
They just want to see this house burn down. That would make for a good live.
I love how we've got a show going on in the chat. They have their own show going on. It's HGTV.
The chat show has been actually quite good tonight.
Now that I can see it. Last week I didn't see the chat after like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's brutal. You've had that happen a few times.
It's crazy. Zuck's like, yeah, I know that you switched to iPhone. Nice job. But guess what? Now I'm going to disable your comments. Stupid.
Zuck also, he doesn't let us see all the comments because every time I'll see somebody say, oh, did you see this comment on the show? And I'm like, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Zuck's he's taken one too many beatings to the head.
Maybe he should have only fired 3,599.
Who was the one guy that's in charge of like all the bugs?
Yeah, he had to find that guy. Elon would have never let that guy go. Trump says Elon attracts the geniuses. 100 geniuses.
They dress like you.
Yeah, Trump doesn't like that at all.
No, he wants them to dress up in suits.
I saw a quote. He said, some people attract smart people, some people attract beautiful people. And he prefers the people who attract beautiful people, but he is glad that Elon attracts the smart people. So I don't know how you make sense of that.
I'm not going to touch that one.
Okay, all right. Next up from Braun Reeves PC. Is 0.5 away? You know, have you seen that before? Like Mike Jack 0.5. Is 0.5 away the worst sales pitch of all time for a car?
That's a really good question. Because it's like everyone thinks it's so positive, and it's like you're just telling me that it's bad. You didn't make the cut. I'm trying to think of an analogy for basketball. It's like one playoff win away from winning the series or something. Yeah, it's like
right. That's good.
Game 7, we lost, but I was one game away.
That's good. Yeah. Victory says he attracts low ballers.
Hopefully of the buyer's variety. 0.5 away from being a 101.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely guilty of having at least put subgrades on my eBay listing before, like, you know, BGS 8.5 and then parentheses like 2.95.
Well, I think they make it seem like, you know, if you crack this,
right,
it's only 0.5 away. You might be able to get that bump.
They're selling you the hope and the dream, which makes sense because a lot of card collecting is sort of based on the future optimism.
Yeah. This was always my biggest complaint about BGS. We haven't talked about this in a long time, but I just like the 9 and the 10. Just make it easy on me. I'm a simple guy, you know, because I can't stand the debates when I'm trying to buy a card, and they're like, I'm looking at 9.5 comps, and like, well, yeah, well, my centering is a 9.5, and that one has a 9. It's like, oh god, I don't care about this stuff.
Especially when I could never tell you the difference between a 9 centering and a 9.5 centering and an 8.5 centering.
Right. I appeal, bro.
I appeal. All right. Oh, I put this one to my story. This question from about is 0.5 away the worst sales pitch, and then people started saying, "What are some of the other bad sales pitches?"
Of course, they always. This is what we're here for, just to come up with these mass responses to these topics.
One of the comments was, you know, what's even worse is when somebody has like a PSA 8 of a pretty common card, and they like say pop one.
Yeah. Right.
Okay,
right.
yeah, it might be a pop one, but that's because there's 500 nines and 350 tens.
Yeah, we talked recently about where it's like I've got a PSA 4, and you're like, yeah, but this is like a really nice looking 4. This one is like I mean, just look at this thing, and you look at it, it's just a 4. The other one I hate is new label.
I remember there was like a YouTube basketball slam dunk influencer guy who used to come into our chat like at the peak of the pandemic bubble.
I miss those
And he
times.
would argue with us about the new slab all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Every week he'd be like, "New slab, bro, it's way better." And it was just like, why are you so focused on the new slab?
He would DM me like diatribes about it too, like really trying to get me fired up about it. I'm like, I just don't care, man. You're not gonna get me interested in this.
I don't want to rock the boat on this at all because I love an old slab, and they do go for cheaper. So I just I like that. I like the way it is.
The chat says looks better, regrade, used to be a BGS 9.
I love that when it's like now it's a PSA 7, but they have in the listing like the second photo is of the old label. It's like, so I'm buying it. So if I buy this, does it go back to a BGS 9 or?
Right.
No. Any other bad sales pitches you've got?
Let me think about that one.
There could be a lot.
It's in the vault already. Easy transfer.
And it's never easy, is it?
No, of course not. Then you got to take it out and pay the fees.
It's kind of like when people are debating sports online and somebody, I think this is a Russillo take, and somebody will say, so-and-so is better than the other guy, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
And anytime they say it's not even close, that's your clue that it is.
Right.
The easy transfer. All right.
That's like the guy that's like, now I am an independent, so there's my credibility, but here's my take on why one side is really bad.
I love those independents.
That's the old label.
JD9 Card says, what is the furthest you've ever physically traveled to buy a card that is not at a card show? Does the length of the trip give you more emotional attachment to the card because you had to take a long journey to get it?
You have to win this one.
I have to?
I mean, you're going to win by time. I might win by miles.
Yeah, I have, well, that's a little bit cheating. We went to like a card show in Vegas, maybe the Mint or something, and then we traveled from Illinois, but then we actually went all the way to LA to get the McCaffrey. Yeah. But really the distance should only count from Vegas to LA for that one. I guess what's your furthest distance?
I flew to Oregon, and I've flown to Texas, like Austin area.
Yeah, I don't know. That's probably pretty close. I drove to Louisiana, like the Baton Rouge area from the Chicago area.
That's pretty far.
Yeah. Yeah, we Christina points out New York. Yeah, I don't know. But to the other part of the question, yeah, I do think there's a lot more of an attachment to a card when you make a trip to go get it.
Dude, we've been seeing all these stories about Lost and FedEx and all this stuff. Like, if the cards, we always say, like, if it's over $5,000 or whatever, ship it, FedEx overnight, double box it, all this stuff, the best you can do. But if it's over, like, I don't know, 50 grand, I don't know what number, but like if it's over that, just freaking fly. It's a plane ticket is, that is the insurance. It's cheap. The price of the plane ticket is like cheaper than the insurance in some of these cases.
Yes. Yep. about since that topic is on the mind now, here's a question from Big Blue Sports Cards. How about we discuss best practices for buying, selling, and shipping grails? Given the recent news of the Brady 2012 Black Prism 1 of 1, side note, we should talk about how insane it is that that card may have been unearthed.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Right. Given the news that that card did not make it to its rightful owner, do we really need to fly or drive out and pick up every card in person? It's a scary thought that it could happen to me next. I can't imagine the sinking feeling you would get waiting for the card to arrive, going to the mailbox or accepting the package, and realizing the card you have dreamed about and paid for is not there.
Do you think most of these are like people see the name on the box or something? Like, do we need to start doing more? I saw someone post a story that they recently got a PO box, and that was helpful for them. Like some sort of generic shipping place, or like a shipping center that you could drive to go pick it up from, or something like that. That's like the next layer to this.
Does it seem? Would it be fair to say that we might be having more instances of mail theft of cards than previously?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know that it's like a huge jump.
Yeah, and we might just be hearing about it more now just because there's more people on social media.
Yeah.
But it also there might also be more theft going on right now.
I would be worried to ship. It sucks. It sucks to say this, but like shipping to a vault, like it says that's going to like a card vault. Basically, you're basically like signaling that this thing's got an expensive card in it. It sucks.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I like about eBay's authentication program is that once I've successfully shipped that card to them,
Yeah.
I'm off the hook. I have no worries about a bad actor on the other end claiming that they didn't receive my card or whatever.
Right. Yeah. How much? Yeah. What do you think? There's an increase in percentage of fraud of like people pretending to lose it but not losing it, or people not even shipping it at all. Just like, yeah, I shipped it. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that the legal penalties the people who have stolen cards either through the mail or the thieves at the who stole the $2 million of cards that were supposed to be delivered to that hotel last year. I mean, I think the primary thief in that case was sentenced to 5 years in prison. It's pretty.
I just feel like that would take so long to get through those legal steps.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we did, Eddie. I think we've got some questions.
Yeah, the card looks weird.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll watch how that unfolds.
Yeah, more to come, I'm sure.
So, what about practical advice for the thousands of people who've probably seen this and now are concerned about the security of buying, selling, and shipping their own nicer, important collection cards?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to consider more about flying for sure, especially on a card like that. I mean, I can't understand why there was no flying involved with a card like that. That's like possibly the best football card ever made. Well, give or take 2 or 3 cards. Got to fly to get that one. But I mean, in general advice for everyone else listening, I don't know. I guess you got to like get to know your FedEx people or find a shipment center you trust, or I always double box. I don't know if that's like something that could help. Double boxing always seems, because I keep seeing like where they're like opening it up and prying it out. I'm not sure that you'd probably deter a decent amount if you double box. It's pretty tough to get through. I don't know that people have the time, the stealthiness to get through 2 boxes, because it might be a matter of speed, to get there and grab it.
Yeah, I like all those ideas. I'll say that for me personally, it's gotten to a point where if I have to travel somewhere for something and I'm not going there to pick up a nice, exciting PC card, I'm like, I don't really want to go.
Yeah, totally.
I have a road trip coming up in about 2 months that I need to make some type of deal so that when I go there, I'm excited. So like that's the flip side of it is that what's more fun than making the flight to pick up a huge card? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. And then you get to like see a new city too. Like it all falls into place when the priorities are ranked properly.
Yep.
All right, this is since we're talking Tom Brady from Publius 13.
Ugh.
The TB12 collection, in quotes, continues to grow and appear at auction houses, particularly gold. Does anyone believe Tom actually owned or possessed most of these for more than 30 seconds?
Yes.
Regardless, would you care?
I just.
Would you be
Go ahead.
interested if LeBron in the LeBron or the Luka collection? I'm sure it could vary in the event of actual provenance, which doesn't seem to exist regarding TB12. Or can we simply chalk this up to puppet culture?
Yeah. Chris, let's go. Both of you, Chris and Chris Publius. What is so difficult about this? These are all like more common cards that he's IP autoed. This is so simple. It's not like they're pack inserted autos that he's been storing away for years. He's autographing these now.
Yeah.
It's super obvious. He's writing stuff about like Hall of Fame on these. They're clearly like recently autographed or recently graded, and now he's selling them. He's probably had these base cards from trading card companies for years.
So I've heard some IP autograph collectors discuss the idea that the period during which the autograph was signed is important.
Okay. Yeah. Like more recent is less valuable, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is presumably one of the reasons why.
Yeah.
But it's pretty. I mean, this is an obvious situation where you can figure out when it was signed. But I think one of the off-putting parts of it is that it's just marketing. It's like,
of course.
I hate marketing, so I get it.
They're all sold from either Golden or a PSA account, right?
Sounds right.
He's grading them with PSA, he's vaulting them, and he's selling them.
Yep.
They're not recently acquired. Why is this so difficult for you to understand, Chris? These are very easy cards to get. He could just buy they're all base cards. They're like Tom Brady's a multimillionaire. He could just buy these $100 cards and autograph them. If they were like pack inserted autos or ones that he signed 30 years ago, I would then I can understand the argument.
Right.
But they're not.
What about this puppet culture? I don't know. And he capitalized it. So.
Oh, well, let's answer the question about the LeBron Luka. I would have zero interest in those. We don't have any interest in like the IP auto stuff.
Same. That was his maneuver to get us onto his side.
He likes IP autos?
No, he was trying to get us on his side of being skeptical of these Brady's by saying.
I'm on his side. It's not great. I don't love it, but like that's what happened.
Fair. That's about my take too.
What is there to? Are we supposed to be? Does he want us to be angry about it?
Yes.
In what way?
Just because there's a level of gimmick to it.
Yeah, of course. That's like all of IP autos.
Well, look, I just asked ChatGPT, which I'm becoming increasingly impressed with. It really helped me reply to a Drake question earlier today. ChatGPT, I asked it, what is puppet culture?
Okay, here we go.
First bullet point, traditional puppetry. The use of puppets in various cultures for storytelling. So.
All right.
Could you imagine if we had to post our cards using the instrument of a puppet? Who would your puppet be? Mine would be Kermit.
Mine is Zuckerberg.
The second bullet point, media and entertainment. Puppets have played a major role in popular culture through TV and movies.
Could you even name another puppet other than, how about Pinocchio? He's a puppet,
Humpty
right?
Dumpty might be a puppet in some contexts. Pinocchio. And then finally, would you collect a puppet? A puppet's rookie card. We have a third bullet point, which is a socio-political concept. Puppet culture could also metaphorically describe a society where people are manipulated by external forces such as propaganda, media, or authoritarian regimes.
Yeah, we definitely live in that one.
And I think that is the puppet culture that Publius was referring to.
So, like, the corporate overlords are the puppet masters of us over Tom Brady marketed IP Auto cards coming to auction.
Yes.
Got it. Yes, we're in. That's true.
Yes. All right.
Is Nico a puppet?
Snuffleupagus for the puppet. All right.
Big Bird.
Let's keep it rolling here. From Pack Nicholson. Big Bird? Yeah, shout out Big Bird. I used to love Big Bird. I don't know why.
The chat's on fire with the puppet. Oh, Christina.
We finally hit on a nice overlap of expertise among all the chat participants.
We've found our new lane.
From Pack Nicholson. How do you organize your player PCs in your cases? Is it chronologically? Is it by brand? Least favorite to most favorite? Do you make sure each card flows into the next properly? Do you lead with the rookie year, or do you save the rookie for last as a little treat?
I usually go worst to best in case a random need to shuffle through, the video where you thumb through. If that arises quickly and I'm not prepared, I'll at least ahead of them in that order, ready to go.
Like it. Like it a lot. I'm more of a best to worst, but I'll slide in like a mid-tier one is the very, very first, because sometimes when I'm reaching into that box and pulling them out, they slip a little bit, or like my finger can maybe.
Yes.
So that first slab needs to not be the top slab.
Or the light. I always think about the light. If I ever have like an auto or like a really nice card on my desk or something, I always like turn it over before I leave the room.
Oh, that's such a good point. I have a bit of an issue with this with the Jokic chunk of one of the rows in the PC box. Is I have two Jokic Black Prisms. One is rookie, one is not, and I do have the rookie ones up front. But actually, I have the two Black Prisms together, and then the other rookies, because I'm always moving those around. Sometimes I move the non-rookie Black Prism back with the other non-rookies, but sometimes I move it up front so that it's with the other Black Prism. Yeah. I haven't solved this.
We're running out of things to think about with our collections.
Yeah. From Green is Better Than Gold. Is there anything that can be done with the rampant cracking of graded cards that are then resold raw?
Oh, like they're selling for more raw than a PSA 8 or 9?
See, that's where my brain went with this too, is that I think there's a hope that there can be a solution on the seller's side that disciplines sellers into not doing this. Yeah. But I think the solution here is on the buyer's side, which is you really have to inspect those raw cards very, very carefully. And if you can't, then assume the worst. Assume that this previously was a PSA 6 that got cracked out.
Another thing is, that you're right. I think we should stop putting so much emphasis on PSA 10s where the card is easy enough to obtain, where it's like 10, 9, 8 raw. There's all these different variants across the grade. It's like, this card is too easy to get. Don't put so much value in the 10.
Right. From Black Hat cards, what inning are we in of not bidding on the cards we want?
The abstinence bid?
The abstinence bid. What inning are we in on the abstinence bid?
Well, we've brought this up as a topic a week ago, so hopefully it's still the first inning.
What if somebody was already in the 8th inning of abstaining from bidding?
They've bid.
That's the person we need to hunt down and find. Like, where does all this lead?
Yeah, we just need to stop bidding. That would be funny though. If auction houses start getting angry at us. So like, are you telling our customers to stop bidding on our cards? We heard you guys are.
We're definitely. It's if this actually ever got any traction, you know who's gonna send an email or a text and be like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?"
You know, he's gonna request to join the live.
I have such a funny a visual in my head right now of like if this message actually worked and like tens of thousands of collectors worldwide are just not bidding on anything and it's just like the auction house just like logs in and looks like what action are we getting on our big auction and it's just like the same old 10 flippers. Like, what is going on?
That's a good title. The same old 10 flippers. You put it that way. That's good. You got me a real chuckle there. What is going on? It's just these same 10 guys. But they're like, but the prices are still pretty much the same. I guess it's just them.
It's like, all right, buyer's premium is going up to 100%, guys.
Oh man. But they're like, then the private market just starts exploding of paying 30% over comps. It's annoying because people aren't going to take this advice. Like, I'm pretty serious.
I know I can't even take the advice, and I believe in it.
You're like, I've got a T-shirt that says it, and I still don't do it.
I'm perpetually stuck in the first inning of the abstinence bid.
Would you wear a shirt that says abstinence bid?
Or maybe mine would say abstain from bidding.
Yeah, okay. And what does it say on the back?
On the back it says pull-out culture.
Oh. Pull-out gang.
Pull-out gang. Or puppet culture. Puppet culture.
Like that. Same thing. And then on the back on the bottom it just says, I bid.
But I still bid.
With the, what's like the water splash emoji? Yep.
It's good. The splash emoji. All right. From WTF Frankie Podcast, what are your thoughts on Prism's final LeBron card featuring his bald patch?
I did see that. That's so bad. I can't believe they did him that dirty.
They did do him dirty.
He's 40. Give the guy a break. He can't get a picture of the front of his face. Come on.
How about that for a generalist PC? The bald patch PC. Ginobili.
Ginobili. Yep. I was gonna say he's got to be on Mount Rushmore of that.
He is. He made the bald patch iconic.
Kareem's got a pretty sick bald patch.
Oh yeah.
Kareem is a good one.
The bald patch is coming back, man. I'm just waiting.
You're waiting?
Just bide my time.
Yeah. Who needs all these hair growth drugs? Just let it ride, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Jason Statham turned it into a fashion statement.
Dude, these yeah, he did. You're right. We should make a list of like Did you listen to the podcast with Bill where they drafted movie characters that play basketball? What a fantastic. This is what makes Bill Simmons great. It was so entertaining.
I did not.
The funniest part is one guy, he's like, I'm doing it. Did I explain it well enough what they're doing? They're drafting like a team, starting five and like two bench players, like a coach and everything, but they can't be real. They can't be like NBA players as themselves. So they have to be like in a movie, and it doesn't have to be like a big part. So like people, Jesus Shuttlesworth is like a common one, and like Shaq from Blue Chips is a good one. But this one guy, like later in the thing, he's like, I'm doing it. I'm drafting Air Bud, everybody.
Oh, that's good.
It was a really good bit.
I like the symbolism of LeBron's final Prism card because he's the most important player to be featured in any Prism product, and he is walking away.
Look at that! Look at that! Good take.
It's the shot from the back. He's leaving. Prism is exiting the stage as we know it, and that's what that card symbolizes.
They couldn't just like have him like the angle better where it's not just straight bald.
Yeah, it's never going to be perfect, is it? Just never going to be perfect. Publius says accolades merchant Jabbar. Okay. I like this because he has been workshopping a take that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is just an accolades merchant.
Oh, it's like a Russell Westbrook take, like a stat chaser.
No, not stat chasing. Just that he just acquired all these accolades, but that they're hollow.
Oh, does he have like 5 championships?
Well, okay, so that's a great example. He has 6, but he was only the Finals MVP twice.
Okay, so he's like riding Magic Johnson's on his shoulders kind of thing.
Sort of. He has the most regular season MVPs. He has 6.
Right.
Nobody else has 6. He has 6. But the idea here is that like his whole legacy is just these accolades, and that the substance just really isn't there.
Right.
Now, me personally, I'm zagging. I want the accolades merchant. I love the
accolades. What's his PER ranking? What's his all-time PER?
I think it's very, very good.
Well, then that's not just accolades, is it?
It's not. It's not. No, I wouldn't do that's not my take on Kareem, is that he's an accolades merchant, but I'm leaning into all accolades merchants.
Number 13.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And you have to make adjustments when you look at like the career PER for someone like Kareem or anybody who had that long of a career, that they had some twilight years.
And you got to adjust for all the plumbers.
Oh, well, yeah. The plumber adjustment.
The height, short dudes that he's playing against.
And league size adjustment.
Dude, when I watched...
And the ABA adjustment, that when Kareem was racking up awards, a lot of the best players were in the other league.
Julius Erving.
Yes.
Exactly. Did you? I did finish that Thinking Basketball pod video that you sent me about how the NBA game is like actually the best it's ever been right now.
Yep.
Like, have you heard a single person in the media even like pretend to say anything related to that?
No.
And he's right. Like he's like doing the videos of random games, and it's like, oh my god, look at this! It's so much better.
Oh, dude, when he brought in, what a great idea for a video. I'm going to
pick a random game.
Yeah. I'm going to take 3 games from the 3 different eras, and then I'm going to bring in the players from these eras who are just B.J. Armstrong and everybody who's just crapping on this era. Then I'm going to show what their era actually looked like.
It's so good. And he like even talks about like the illegal defense, and then he has one where they brought back illegal defense, or they removed the illegal defense, so there's no excuse, basically, the 2009 game, right?
Yeah, and if you had somebody like that, or you had content like that being pumped into the brains of the NBA consumers, they will all go along with it, and they'll just eat out of your hand, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is great. We love this game." And then I would have to zag against that, and then I would have to hate people who like today's game.
For anyone that's listening, not knowing what we're talking about, there's a Thinking Basketball video where he compares a random first quarter game from 1993 to 2009 to 2024.
It's quite good.
It's very good. The spacing is obviously the big thing. Yeah. And just like the funniest one is that he's like, look, here's 2 guys standing next to each other, both posting up right next to each other. Like the spacing they're like running into each other. It's so bad. Or the long twos in 2009, players were just shooting like with their foot on the line and stuff, just terrible shots.
Indeed. All right. Ready to pick a title?
Yep.
Here's what I have jotted down. I feel like there were more, but I wasn't jotting them down.
I already know my winner, so this is in vain, but go for it.
It is in vain. I have a winner too, but I wonder if we're going to line up.
We won't.
I have Swanky.
That's good.
It's going to be... Oh, is it going to be Sticky?
That's the water emoji.
That's the water emoji. We Still Hate You?
I don't even know what that's about. That's good.
It's on brand.
We hate our audience.
Abstinence Bid?
Oh, that's probably going to be yours.
The Same Old 10 Flippers?
That's mine. I'm just like picturing them in a group, and they're all just like shrugging or something, like the shrug emoji.
Oh, you just painted the AI cover too?
I know. I love to think about they can't the emoji can't be too on the nose. It's got to be you got to like think a little bit about it.
The same old 10 bitters would just have to be like 10 guys. The same old 10 flippers would just be 10 guys, I think.
I think one shrug emoji would be funny.
Or one shrug.
It's just like, I don't know. There's probably just these same 10 guys, I guess.
Okay, all right. Or 10 shrugging guys. The other one I have was puppet culture.
Puppet culture. What's the one that you wanted?
I'm afraid that if we go with puppet culture, we're going to get down throttled again like we did last week because we had OJ, the government efficiency, in the title.
Would abstinence screw us up?
We might end up in some weird algorithms.
Like a pro-religion thing. We can't be on that either.
Right. Exactly.
Gosh, it's freaking media, man.
So then I think we've, by the process of elimination, settled on the same old 10 flippers.
This is like part 1 of a 4-part series where one of the auction house owners starts to beat down our doors. This is like the first step.
It's so good. All right.
You could do 10 of them.
Do you see how the 10 of them look? It looks crazy.
Did I send you that tweet where I was like, look at these 4 assholes? So, I can't get that out of my mind now with this 10 guys. There's just 10 guys in a circle bidding on the same cards. If you can pull off the 10 shrugging emojis, that looks pretty awesome.
It looked good. It looked crazy, which is what I like.
I'm going to go to 2 lines.
See you guys next time.
CY Card Ladder is the most respected sports card analytics app on the market. We have virtually every card in our system. If the card you are looking for ever sold on one of these platforms, you can find it using Card Ladder's sales history. Easily find recent comps and get a better estimate what your cards are worth. CY Card Ladder is the most trusted and the most reliable sports card analytics app on the market. We know what you want, because Card Ladder was created by collectors for collectors. Join the innovators, not the imitators. Card Ladder, constantly innovating.